everybody. I said I'm live. Let's give it a moment. If you are catching the replay, welcome. Please hashtag replay on here so I know that you are still tuning in. And as you join in with me live, please say hello. Let me know where you're coming in from and what the weather like where you're at. Here in Oregon, it is expecting snow this week. I actually don't like the cold, so I'm not looking forward to that. But I know my children are very happy to have snow to play in. If we've not met before, my name is Stephanie Gary. I am a blog content writer and editor helping women coaches and consultants save time by planning, creating, and updating their blog posts for them so that they can have their content live longer in search results to attract more clients. I save you time so that you can do other things, not marketing, if you so chose to, right? Today we're going to be talking about how to find keywords for your website. If you've been doing any search engine optimization, this will be helpful, not just for your website, but in general, like the keywords to pay attention to. But when it comes to your website and not just your blog, you also have to consider the other pages, those high-level pages, your home page, your about page. They all need to also consider some keywords in the writing. Just because we don't necessarily typically think of these pages as part of the website content to update, they are still indexable by the search engines to show up in search results. And if someone's searching for your service, why not have your landing page show up in the search results? That would actually be a great way to get in front of your clients, to quickly provide them with results that they are searching for. So, how are we going to do this? Let's go ahead and first define the keywords. Now, keywords is just basically what words are used to type in a search bar to look for something. It might be a sentence, it might be one word. It really depends on what someone is thinking about as they're making a search. Consider your own search behavior. When you are on Google, YouTube, Bing, if you're using that one, even if you're in Facebook and you're doing a search in there, what type of thought process do you put into how you're searching for your thing? So it's going to be the first thought. Maybe a little refinement if you need to make sure that you are clear about what you're trying to get. Whatever it is you actually entered in, that's a keyword. Keyword phrase. If it's between 3 and 5 words, that's what we would call a long tail keyword. If it is 1 or 2 words, that would probably be something a little closer to what we'd call seed keywords. We're not going to get into the whole technicalities of, I think there's 17 different names for keywords. Ultimately, it's just how many words, how very specific or how very generic the keywords could be. So when you're doing research about it, that is going to tell you information about the type of content and the keyword itself. And we're going to go ahead and take a quick look about what kind of keyword information you'd want to look at to make decisions for what keywords you would want to target. The reason we want to go ahead and do all this is so that you can make it easier for your page to actually show up to help solve the problem that your ideal client is searching for. They want answers. They are searching for answers. And why can't you be the one to provide that answer for them? And a word about best keywords. There is no such thing as a single best keyword. There will be a best keyword for where you're at in business, where you're at in size of your growth. And there is going to be keywords that may be completely irrelevant for what you want to be known for, how you want to show up, what you want to be found for. So these are just very unique situations that you'd have to consider when you're looking at what is showing up. For example, if you want to be known for and show up in search results related to health and wellness, you wouldn't necessarily want to show up for search results looking for a pressure cooker. You might have talked about a pressure cooker in your content, but unless you have an affiliate link, you're not really wanting to be pulling people in shopping for a pressure cooker. They want a product instead of the service that you have, right? So that is how sometimes that can happen with keywords and why you need to be considerate of how you're writing the content. And for the website that's already established, you can find what keywords you're already ranking for by using the Google Search Console. There is going to be a switch. You can integrate it with Google Analytics so that the information pulling in, but it does need to be turned on your website so that you can actually be collecting data. If you got that, then you can just go ahead and take a look in Google Search Console and see what keywords you are, what queries is their wording, what queries you're showing up for, and which ones are actually getting you clicks from the search result page into your content. And that will tell you what kind of keywords you already had some authority in. When you're wanting to find some keywords that are easy to rank for, that is going to be generically the lower search volumes and the lower search difficulty. If you've got a moderately established business, presence on Google, and some users who are actually consuming content on your website and proving to Google that you are in fact providing quality content, then you can start ranking for higher tier, higher search volume in the keywords. But you will want to make sure that your search difficulty is lower than the average. Across multiple tools, they are usually at a ranking of from 0 to 100. And the easier ones would be less than 33. I have come across a few tools that use a different scaling method. It could be from 0 to 1, and they use decimals to help differentiate between the two. The way I like to see that is that it's essentially just adding zeros, moving that decimal placeholder over. Essentially the same information though. Okay, let's get into the meat of this. How to find your keyword ideas. First off, you could just brainstorm. And there's a lot of things that you can think about, like what kind of market are you in? What are the things that are related to what you know? And just coming up with different ideas that way. It can be very generic keyword ideas. Health coaching. Lose weight. If it is more in the business realm of things, it could be make money online. Business checking. There could be more the mindset coaching. You could have it limiting beliefs. EFT, or let's see, if you are a finance coach, debt elimination, eliminate debt. You could be just like these very broad ideas. It's not really specific as far as like what direction or what question you're asking, just this whole wealth of ideas that's within that. So those kinds of keywords will help give you direction. And you can use different tools to help you get specific as to what's most common in that. There's Answer the Public that can help you provide a wealth of questions and searches that are already being used that's related to the topic that you use on there. There are free and paid options for using Answer the Public. There are simply using Google search results pages. As you enter in your idea, you get the autocomplete. What does that show? Once you've made the search itself, then you have the People Also Ask box and the related searches. That's without even adding any Chrome extensions. That's already there for you, free. If it's showing up, it means someone's searching for it. You can take a look through to see what kind of content's already showing up. And if it's just like the big companies, the internationally known brands, there may not be a keyword for you to pay attention to. But I can give you ideas as far as getting more and more specific until you get to the point where you see content that you could show up for. They're similarly sized. Then the Chrome extensions I like to recommend are Ubersuggest and Keywords Everywhere. Let's see. Then let's see what keywords your competitors are ranking for. So I have not found too many free places to look at this, but there are good tools from SEMrush. There is Ubersuggest as well. They will look at your competitors' websites and see what top pages, what top keywords that they are ranking for that you might be able to also show up for. The reason this is a good thing to do is so that you know what kind of content your competitors are showing up for, so that you can also start showing up for those things too. Just because someone else has already said something doesn't mean you can't say something your way. Similarly, just because they are a competitor, I use that term loosely, doesn't mean someone is going to necessarily ever buy from them and not from you. They are looking for someone to invest in, and if you are not a copy of someone, then you will have your own people who like your content better than them. It doesn't even matter who they versus you are, right? There is someone for everybody. You can say your piece and have the room to show up to also eat at the dinner table, if you will. Let's see. You could use keyword research tools. I gave you a couple of examples already. There are free and paid options. Of course, if you pay for it, you get better quality information. It might be easier to use. It could be more straightforward and aggregate. It could be quicker. I will say that. There's something to be said about being quick with the data research. But there are ideas that get pulled into those that are adding additional ideas if you are needing more. And then you can also find keyword ideas when you study your own niche. So what are the common topics? What are the myths that are out there about what you do? And what is something that you need to make sure is said? What do they need to believe before they can start working with you? You need to answer that question so that you can create that content to help them. Then let's transition over to how to research keywords for your specific strategy. So out of all of those ideas that we've gotten so far, you're going to go ahead and make a list of all the important and relevant topics based on what you know and for your business. This can help you keep focused with what is important right now. It can quickly be overwhelming and therefore kill your inspiration and your creativity by having this huge list of ideas. You need to go ahead and go through and make an prioritization on what is available and what needs to be made so that you can focus on what matters. This could be prompted by what are you planning to launch, creating the content that is related to that. It could be needing to address certain objections you haven't previously handled yet because you didn't have enough time before that particular content launched. You decided those could be handled with a phone call. Well, now it's time to write the content so that you can have that ready. So you're not necessarily handling those same objections anymore on the phone. Or it could be something entirely different where you are just making a transition and wanting to keep to a theme. And every month you change your theme, therefore that month you are focusing on that relevant theme. You've got so much content already that perhaps your launch plans and perhaps there's not as much holes in your content as it would be to just help keep you focused on the overall content themes that you've got going throughout the year. Whatever works for you is the way to do it. There are as many ways to do blogging as there are people on this planet. We are going to then go ahead and fill in those topic buckets with the keywords. So what are the categories you are writing for, and how can you make sure that they are fairly evenly distributed among all those different topics you write about. Then step 3 here is to understand how the search intention affects the keyword and analyze your options accordingly to that. So that can be as simple as doing a Google research on or Google search on that keyword and actually taking a look at what's out there. And you can do just the top 2 or 3 search results to see what kind of content is showing up and it's ranking well. And then reading what are the headings? In what direction does this piece of content go? Is it thorough enough? Do you think that there's a hole? Is it perhaps missing something? What can you add to it? The other thing to consider is, what have you forgotten out of creating that content? What have they covered that you could add to yours because you might have overlooked something? And then consider addressing that question. Then go ahead and research those related keyword terms. So it could be just the synonyms. And the thing about keywords is that they are different if they are a single letter off. So that means an S at the end of a word going from singular to plural makes it a different keyword. But by being a different keyword, that means also that it's a related keyword. It's not getting real complicated as far as take a look at what else is related to it. It can just be like add a letter and it's a different keyword. The results sometimes actually are different. And then step 5, we're going to use keyword research tools to your advantage. This is especially so if you have paid tools that you're using, but there are still advantages with using some of the free ones that are out there. The Ubersuggest, Keywords Everywhere, SEMrush. I haven't personally used too many others. Not that I really feel worthy of talking about. They have features that are available to you to tell you which ones are the easiest and which one has the search volume that makes it the most worth your time to invest in targeting that keyword. By having that information, you'll see results faster as opposed to waiting for years, because that, by the way, that was an old rumor. I think we can kill at this point, but just in case, showing up in search results do not have to take like years to actually build momentum. You can build momentum in a few months, and that's starting from scratch. You can have the authority to show up in top search results for a moderate volume search phrasing. So, as long as you use these steps, the tools to your advantage, you can see results faster. Let's go ahead and do that, right? Now, we found the different options here. Let's go ahead and choose the keywords. So what keywords are you going to use for your website? If you want to determine what's a good keyword, perhaps we're going to go ahead and go all the way to saying it's the best keyword. You'll want to look at how relevant it is. Is it still within the niche you're talking about? Is it actually what you want to be showing up for? Are you talking about money when you want to be showing up about health instead of money coaching, right? Then you'll want to consider what you could tweak. And authority. So how, let's see, how do I explain this one? Do you already have an established authority on that particular topic, or do you need to keep building on it? If you already have your domain authority, which you can get an actual number tied to your website, and a page authority tied to your web page, then you might need to build up until you get to a higher level of keywords. The more difficult, the higher your domain authority probably should be before you try and start targeting those difficult keywords. Your volume for the keywords would be how often someone is searching for it. And that is going to be anywhere from 10 searches a month. There's someone, but it's almost no real searches. They are averages. But if they are 0, that's not necessarily actually like no one ever searches it. It's just an average. In a month, there's less than enough to round up to 10 that searches for it. Then when you're starting out, that might be okay for the first couple keywords, but you want to quickly find that you're escalating actually up to the couple hundreds, or maybe the couple thousands of searches a month, and then still keep that search difficulty down at the minimum. And that could be in the teens, it can be in the 20s. Those are all still easy search result keywords to try and target and actually show up on the first page. And then you're going to look in the content itself to see what kind, your own content, to see what kind of mix of these generic keywords and then also the long tail keywords that's in each post. And you'll want to have like a mix. So yes, you are targeting a long tail keyword usually to get to that search volume, but then because you're talking about something and you're writing about it like you are writing for a human, but you're not writing for a robot, you're going to naturally come up with a few different keywords that's going to make sense for that post. But you got to make sure that it is all still relevant to what you want to be showing up for. An example where it is something that you'd want to pay attention to when you're looking at the mix of keywords is if you have an analogy where you go into the story and you talk about something a little too much, you might start showing up for what your analogy is. It's not related at all to what you're talking about because it's an analogy. So you show up for that other keyword, but anyone who clicks on that is not getting the content they expect. So Google will see that users are leaving your web page pretty quickly and decide that that's not a good post. Oh, they put out something not good. Let's push it down. It does kind of hurt you. So it's just want to pay attention to what it is that you might show up for on each page. And then finally, you want to see how your competitors are ranking for those keywords that you have in your list. And that is going to be a comparative to where they rank and then how they're showing up, like what kind of content they're putting out already, to see how you can improve it. Can you be more concise, therefore a shorter read? You have the same amount of information, but it's much quicker to digest that because you have a better way of explaining something that doesn't go on. It could be more in depth on something. Therefore, it's adding clarity to whatever it is that they're talking about. You can then add that to your content and it be more clear so that the user can understand better what is going on. You could talk about all of what that they talk about, and as far as like their headers go, and then you could add in a few more things so that you are covering a wider area of what needs to be covered on a topic. You are the expert. You definitely know what it is that will be helpful, but sometimes taking the time to look at the competitor's content will actually help you see what it is that is working and will help you see what makes you different, because it helps you, prompts you to think creatively, to be different, and to always provide high quality content. So that looks like that's the end of my notes here. If you have any questions, let me know. I am available in the DMs, in the comments. If you want to go ahead and discover how I can help save you time with the planning, creating, and updating your blog posts so that you can take that time elsewhere and your content lives longer in search results to attract your ideal clients to you, go ahead and book a free call at www.stephaniegary.com/breakthrough. I have enjoyed our conversation tonight, so let me know if you have any questions. And all right, that looks like that's it. So good night and have a wonderful day.